Hi everybody, it's me again, Charles Norman, Sports Solutions LLC. We are the creators of Athletic SOS. It is a piece of software that is at no cost to you guys. You do not have to pay for it anymore, at least right now. I've got some cool people that came in that are helping us out, sponsoring the software. So we're in a really good space. Now, in order to make these deals, the piece of software that I give you, the code that I give you down below, the instructions for how to use the code, will not give you the academic only. So this software is the version I'm giving you when I do these talks is the version that does not have the academic only. And what academic only was for high schools, some travel club programs, or some organizations that have staff that can help you if you're just trying to go to college, or you're trying to make that decision on whether I'm going to go straight to college or am I going to go to some vocational type of situation or a trade schools type of situation, that they can sit there and they can assist you with that and kind of fill in the blank. So the software works for both. The one that you're going to get is for people that are trying to get an athletic scholarship in general, and it works great. Now, there is a workaround if you wanted to kind of use it for the other thing, but I'm not going to go through that right now. And so what I really want to get into now is it's starting to happen again. We've been around for a little while now, a little less than 10 years, but, closer to 8 years. And because of the pandemic, you throw some of that off. But what I'm seeing is what I've seen through the past years, but it has accelerated. And so what's happening now, I can see people going into the software and using it. It used to be our junior college kids that were just looking for schools that had their sport and actually offer it on campus, and maybe they can get a scholarship. But I'm seeing even more people now that are coming in, and I can tell these kids are already in college. So they're coming, either maybe they're in the transfer portal, maybe a new coach is coming on, maybe they've been told that their scholarship is not going to be renewed. I don't know what's going on, but the numbers over that section, and the reason I can tell is because people go in and put their max SAT, ACT score in, so it shows them more schools, and they don't have to worry about qualifying for those schools with the SAT, ACT, GPA, because they're coming either through a junior college or they're already in college and they're just looking for where else they're going to go. And what this is telling me is there seems to be chaos. And so everyone that I've been talking to, people that have contacted me, even from doing these videos, everybody wants to fix youth sports, right? They want the youth sports, and then everyone else is complaining about how college sports has lost its meaning. Some of the old heads are saying how, now that they're going to pay the kids, this NIL stuff, it's ruining everything. But I'm going to take a different tack on this. Here's what I think is happening in sports, and just in general, because as I watch sports, I watch pro sports, I've watched, I watch college sports. I'm going to be really paying attention to the Olympics. I'm starting to see I'll call it kind of a parody. Everyone's being trained the same. Everybody kind of moves the same. Everybody's doing things the same way. And so the players, the athletes themselves are becoming commodities. And what this is telling me is that the system is really efficient. It's not broken. It's so efficient that it's squeezing out possibilities, and it's going for probabilities. So if you're going for probabilities, it means that kid that may be a late bloomer is not getting the opportunity anymore. The kids that have people with more resources are getting better training earlier. They're getting moved into certain sections of the sports, especially the youth sports world, that other kids can't get access to. And so, and that's where the money is. And so wherever the money goes, everybody else goes. The one thing that sports has over almost everything else is becoming this way. Our work is becoming that way, right? The companies are starting to lay people off in high-tech areas, really talented people, the medical field, almost everywhere. You're starting to see people get laid off. People in blue-collar work. It's starting to happen to you guys too, and that's just efficiency. Once efficiency comes back in, and the reason we could see it so much, it was happening before the pandemic, but the pandemic and all the changes that were made there really accelerated everything. And so we're in this efficient mode. And so for sports, and even in life, we've got to make one change. There's only one thing you could do now, to me, that is going to put you in a position where you will be successful regardless of what you do. And that is, you're going to have to bet on yourself. And it's something, everybody talks all this stuff. They think they're betting on themselves. But so far, in the industrial age and moving towards, more of the technology and the information age and things like that, we've been betting on someone else that will be ready to bet on us, right? So we played by the rules. And so we've gone to school, we've got the grades, the government has put some things in to catch people that didn't do things the right way from K through 12. And so there's trade schools, there's There's money to go to college anyway. You can start at junior colleges. Everything's kind of in line if you really think about it, that if you really wanted to make it, you can make it. But there's no fairness. I don't know why everybody thinks there's fairness. There's only thing that you could ever ask for other people is opportunity. Is there opportunity out there for me to get somewhere? And this is going to require you to bet on yourself. And so, I think I've done this a little bit the last few weeks, but I think it's more emphasized now because I see the numbers now. And so what you're going to have to do, if you're trying to get an athletic scholarship, use our software. It does not cost you anything. You use our software, you go find schools and give yourself some options, but now you're looking for schools where you can go on and do whatever you want to do next, right? After college, not during college. So you don't have to go to this top, number one place. Give yourself 5, 6, 7, 8 other schools that you're looking at. I believe if you're watching me right now, if you're that kind of serious of a kid, that you can get an athletic scholarship. There's only 450,000 spaces, which means it's about 125,000 spaces every year because kids that are seniors are going to opt out. There's a lot of people that quit. A lot of stuff is going on, but there's empty seats every year also. For your sport, for what you do, you just got to find a place where you fit in, where you're going to bring value to that organization or that club. So you have to bet on yourself, and you're also betting on yourself that, and this is from 2020 to 2035. This is that range that this is going to have to take place for you guys. And I feel bad for you. It's just the way it is. But we're making a transition now. We're going away from the old world where, like I said, you go to school, you get good grades, you go on to college, you're going to have a good career, somebody's going to hire you, they're going to pay you enough money for you to live a fantastic life or a really good life, get to that middle ground in life, and you're fine. And if you want to and you want to excel, you can go above that. That world's slowly coming to an end. Here's the problem. It's already at an end, but the institutions are still the same. That K through 12, still doing everything the same way. They're still trying to train employees. And the big problem for you guys for this next 15 years or so is that is not going to change. It's going to gradually change. You'll start seeing it change, and you start seeing the teaching methods change. You'll start to see that you're going to do a lot more work on your own using computers because AI is going to start teaching you, especially in math and science, any kind of technology, anything like that. You can accelerate and do more on your own away from the classroom. And slowly but surely that old rote way of doing things, that's going to change. But as an athlete, here's what you're going to have to do. And parents, you're going to have to bet on your own kid. So you guys think about this, and the kid's going to have to bet on themselves. You guys are going to have to start to train. And I heard this in a meeting I was in. There's a business club that I'm in. And one of the guys on there says what he does in his business and the way he became successful, because he's like everyone else selling stuff, and the way he started to do stuff that wasn't scalable. Now, everything I've learned about business, and I'm in technology, we're always thinking about how do we scale stuff, right? Whenever you start a business. But you're going to have to find something about you and how you play the game that you want to play, the game that you want to continue playing and get a scholarship for and all that. How do you do something that everybody else can't do in that sport? What is it about you? Your movement, your size, your height, your leverage, your whatever you have, your speed, your quickness. What is it that you do? And you're going to have to find that thing, and you're going to have to emphasize that as you're on the court, the field, or the field of competition. What is your thing? What is something that is not scalable? Not something the coach can go, oh, I saw this kid do this. We should all be doing this. No, this is unique to you. And I don't know what that is. I can't even tell you what it is. But if you find that thing, then that sets you apart in a different way than everybody else is. And I think that's the answer. And that is where you're going to have to get some different training. You got to sit there and look and say, okay, who do I play like? That could be it. And that's why I told you guys this before. I would go in, and no matter what sport I'm playing, I'm going to find the best of the best at this, and I'm going to find somebody in a all-star or a championship or an Olympic type environment, or that's in some sort of series, and I'm going to say, I play like that person. I move like that person, and they made it to the top, to the best of the best. Okay, now I can see how they got there. Now I know it may be older and things are changing and they're moving quickly, but you still move. You still have that size, that speed, that quickness, that movement that they had. Now take that, figure out what pieces of that you can bring, and then bring something that's just special and unique to yourself. And that is it. And I've said this a million times, but the best chance you have to go as far as you want in your sport is to be the best version of you in that sport. People always go, well, that doesn't make any sense, but it really does. Because the only thing you've got going for you now, everybody's a commodity. you're going to start watching, especially in the pro sports, but it's starting to happen in college now, is that if a kid does anything wrong, if a player does anything wrong or something is wrong, they just replace you. There are fewer and fewer really superstars, but there's even fewer that middle thing to where you say, okay, we also need this person on our team to make it work, because we're not going to pay them that kind of money. Yeah, they've been great for us, but we need to move them out and bring somebody in, because now it's efficient. Sports has become efficient. And when things become efficient, you can't have that middle tier. And the world's becoming, the United States is becoming efficient. It doesn't need that many workers. How do you set yourself apart? How are you valuable, right? And so this is all that's happening. It's not broken. It's just gotten so efficient that it's not fun anymore. And sports is basically just athletic games. And so that's how you're going to fix it. That's what you're going to do. You're going to find a way to plug yourself in and make yourself uniquely valuable to whoever sees it. And now you got to go find the schools that you qualify to attend that have your sport and you think you can bring value to that organization. That's the game. And then for our parents, for our younger kids, I am putting my money where I'm betting on myself too. And I meant to bring my shirts. I've got my Hawk Mindset website up. So Athletic SOS, no cost. I've got some people helping me out there. And now I'm going to open my own e-commerce spot because of what I want to build. And so I'm going to lay it out right now, what I'm trying to do. So I'm calling this for the sort of an acronym. It's not even an acronym. It's just the 3 letters. So first is 5 to 9 year olds. That's discovery. And then from the 10 to 12 year olds, we're going to focus. And then for 13 and up, which is basically high school, we're just positioning ourselves. And that's what I'm talking to you guys about with Athletic SOS. And so I'm going to run this plan through, and I'm going to have to build stuff myself. I mean, I got some people that want to work with me, but they don't see it the way I see it. Most people don't. They just, because the problem with sports is it's so fluid. The people that may be helping you today, their kids age out into the next level, and then the next level, and then they're out of the game and the parents are done. And what's happening right now is most kids are bowing out by 9, 10 years old. The kid doesn't want to do it anymore. They don't want to go to practice. They're not getting any better. The really good kids have separated. So now that the other kids know that they're in this thing, and now they don't want to wake up in the morning. And the parents are like, okay, cool. I tried. They're 10 years old. We'll get them into something else. And hey, they like this other thing too. But I'm trying to encourage you guys not to do that, not to fall for it. You want to keep playing. And the reason is because athletes, and I know you could be doing something else too that can get the same thing, but it's not quite the same. Athletes get access to things that other people don't. They get into doors. They go to places other people simply don't. Other kids simply don't get to do because it's not open like that. Yes, you could be into robotics, or you could be into dancing, or you could be into whatever else is out there. There's tons of stuff you could be doing. And you can get some access to some things, but never as broad as athletes do. Athletes just go places, and they're around so many other people that do things outside of their world. Usually, if you go into anything else, science, music, almost anything else, there's going to be people that are just like you in there. It's very narrow. There's certain people, the parents are kind of the same, but in sports, it's everybody. Because sometimes, a lot of times, athletes surprise people. Even parents that didn't think of themselves as athletic, or they never went anywhere, all of a sudden their kid's good and their kid loves it. And so now you're in this room where there's some top level athletes who have their kids in there, or you're mixed around with all these other different people. And the other thing about athletics, and I say this over and over again, it's the only place that your kid, somebody's trying to stop them from succeeding physically. Yes, other people are trying to beat you in a competition no matter what else you're doing, and just in life in general, but not physically. Most people aren't trying to physically stop you from being successful. And that makes a big difference. And that's what everybody understands about sports. And you don't have to be the very best to win. That's the other thing is you just have to be the best that day or that moment. And so those are opportunities. And that's why parents put their kids in sports, because they know how competitive the world is. And it's the only place that I see that a parent can't do anything. Once that whistle goes, you can't fix it. There's nothing you can do. It's your kid against whoever else is out there. And parents live for that. It's the most anxiety-ridden thing you have, but it's also the thing most parents want is for their kid to hold their own, to make that other person that maybe is superior to them at whatever they're doing. They got to work. They got to sweat. They want to shake your hand after the game, dap you up, whatever it is that they're going to do. And that's going to make a difference. And then the other thing for your kid, parents, if they play sports, even if they just do it younger, they're going to run into those kids that are going to continue playing and continue excelling. And by the time they get to junior high school and high school, those other kids are going to remember they were on their team and they hung out together. And that's going to give your kid, and they're going to remember your kid, especially if your kid came out and gave what they had. They didn't shy away from anything. That's what you're looking for, right? But those other kids are going to bring them up too. So when they get to high school, they'll remember them. And it gives you a pass. So if you're in an underserved community, a community where there's a lot of stuff, nonsense going on around your kid, or even if you're in more affluent areas, there's all this drugs and all this, it's just nonsense going on in teenage years. Sports keeps them away from that. It's a viable excuse for why I can't participate in that. I'm doing this. I don't have time to do that. And other kids will give them a pass also. And this is from even the most dangerous neighborhoods. Even in those neighborhoods, and I grew up in South LA, those people, if they see you trying to do something, and it doesn't have to be athletics, it could be other stuff, they will steer you away from the nonsense. They're like, hey, no, leave that kid alone. That kid's okay. They're doing stuff. They're going somewhere. They're not like you knuckleheads, right? It's not the best way to do things, but it's a great way to keep your kid in a place. And for you, for the parents, you're going to have to sacrifice. You had the kids, so you're going to have to take the time. I know you're coming home. I know you're tired. I know all of that stuff. It's all good. I get it. And you didn't get your chance, or this didn't happen, and at work they're doing this, and it's not fair, and the car broke, and whatever you have to do, you're going to have to get with some other parents. You guys have to get together, and you got to keep these kids involved. You got to keep them doing stuff. Now, in order for this to really, really work, you guys are going to have to do stuff in parallel with them playing sports. So when you go to these tournaments, these events, whatever is going on, you guys got to get those kids and take them and do something else with them so they can discover other parts of the world that they might be interested in that have absolutely nothing to do with the sport. And then you got to get those kids that are on the same team, and maybe they're meeting some other kids there. You got to let them get together and learn who each other are so they can find their other interests outside of sports, and maybe they go do that stuff together and they start to like that too. You don't know where it's going to come from, but you got to give the opportunity for those things to happen. That is what we're going to try to build. And so youth sports is not broken. We don't have to come in and fix it. We don't have to try to take the people, because I've met some of the people that do the leagues, right? All the leagues you guys know, AYSO, NJB, the base little league, all of that stuff. I talk to these people. These are great people. And they've got organizations, they've got bills to pay, and stuff is going to just keep happening. So it's not a bunch of greedy people sitting in the back making out like bandits. The people that put on the tournaments, I know a lot of those people that do those things, or the showcases, or the viewing tournaments and showcases and the combines. That's a lot of work and a lot of money. And a few people are making some money out of it. I'm not going to say it's not that, but for the most part, they're just breaking even, and it's back-breaking work. It's hard work doing all this stuff. And they've got these committees, and they've got these rules, and people want to skirt those rules for whatever reason, right? And so they have to put up with that every single year, and then those parents move on, and then a new set come in and do the same thing. And it's frustrating. You don't want all those people to quit, because now what are you going to do? You think think of you as yourself as a parent. You think you got time to go in and set a new version of that up? You're not going to do it. So we need to keep those organizations going. Now, what we need to do as parents and as athletes is we've got to bet on ourselves. And what that looks like, maybe you got to get a different trainer that's outside. Maybe you guys at high school, if your kid's not making the team that they needed to make, that you think will get them where they need to get a scholarship or something like that, you may have to create your own team just for a year or two, just to get them an opportunity. Or you may have to go to a lesser team and bring a couple of really great players there, and you guys got to go and do something. Now, I struggle with that because there's some kids that were already there, but that's kind of the way life is anyway. But you're going to have to put yourself in a position. You're going to have to bet on yourself. And for you adults, older adults, younger adults that are going to work every day, you got to bet on yourself too, because life is no longer going to be in this, oh, you did what you're supposed to do, so here's what you get. Here's your prize. That's done. So you're still going to have to play the game. Like I said, from 2020 to 2035, still got to play the game, but the game is slowly turning into something different, and you're going to have to figure out something that you want to do with some people that you know, and you're going to have to start your own thing on the side, and you got to go to work, and you got to look out for these kids. How about that? Yeah, that's a lot of stuff going on, but that's the way the world's going to work. But here's what I will tell you. It will be the most rewarding thing you will do, because you will, for the first time, you will wake up and you will feel refreshed. You will feel like a brand new person. You're going to get frustrated sometimes, but I promise you it will pay off in the end, because your kid's going to see you doing it. And by the time you got something going, I'm living it. So that's all I wanted to say this week. Sun's coming up over the hills, probably going to mess up the video a little bit. And then we're going to start moving. So next week, I've got my Hawk Mindset website up. It doesn't have all the stuff I want in there. I'm just learning how to use it. The platform I put on, I did not build. I just built on an e-commerce website platform. So I got to figure out a few things here. But those athlete and t-shirts are there now. So go ahead. I may plug in a link to that down below. Go ahead and buy them. I'm going to charge a little bit more than I guess a normal t-shirt would be, although I see t-shirts really expensive. But it's really great quality t-shirt, and it's going to help me build that 5 to 9-year-old. That's my next move right now. What I want that to look like, what that world's going to look like. And I'm going forward, guys. I hope you guys will ride with me on this thing. So youth sports is not broken. It's just extremely efficient, and we're going to have to bet on ourselves in order if we're going to make a difference and a dent. Also, last thing, get your kids out and playing recreational. Just take them to the park and let them hang out. Go read a book in the corner, whatever you need to do. Your kids are 12, 13, 14 years old, drop them off at the park or let them get up and ride their bike and go get their friends, go play, especially the girls. They do not play by themselves. Now, yes, I know everybody's worried about, something going wrong. So one of the parents should go up there with them. But for the most part, just let them go have fun. You bring that back, they'll get the moves that they need. They'll figure out who they are, what makes them different when they're playing, and they can dig into that, and you can pay attention to that a little bit. But do not go out there telling them, oh, you didn't do this, or you didn't do that, or here are the rules, or I got the whistle, you're taking the cones out. We don't need all of that. Just let them go play, and they'll have fun. Anyway, you guys, sun's coming up, so it's going to, I hope the picture looks fine for you guys, but we're going to move forward. I'm excited as heck about this whole thing, and I'm in it for you guys. I'm going to bet on you, and I'm hoping you guys will bet on me a little bit, but most importantly, we're all going to bet on ourselves. All right? Talk to you guys later. Bye.